Ever walk into a room and feel the tension before anyone says a word? The laughter sounds a little too forced. The silence is a little too heavy. Your chest tightens, your mind starts scanning, and before you realize it, you're already reading every micro-expression like your safety depends on it. That's not intuition. That's a scar. Children of manipulative parents learn early that peace can vanish in a heartbeat and that affection can turn into punishment without warning. So you become hyper-aware, constantly decoding everyone's moods just to stay safe. But the same skill that once protected you? Now it's the reason you struggle to relax, to trust, to just be. Let's talk about it. The subtle, often invisible traits that every child of manipulative parents carries into adulthood. 5 signs that look ordinary on the surface, but reveal a lifetime of emotional survival. Trait number 1. The hyper-observer, the one who reads rooms like crime scenes. Everyone thinks you're just good with people. They don't see the decades of training behind that smile, the way you learned to predict danger in facial expressions, tones, and pauses. You walk into a room and instantly know who's angry, who's lying, who's holding something back. Your shoulders tense even during a casual dinner with friends, eyes scanning for subtle shifts in energy. Because in your childhood home, one wrong move could spark a storm, and reading the weather was the only way to survive. But here's the cost. You can't turn it off. Even when you're safe, your brain stays on high alert, constantly decoding and preparing. You confuse awareness with connection, and empathy becomes a form of control. If I can understand everyone, maybe I can stay safe. The truth is, you were never meant to manage every emotion in the room. Not every silence hides danger, and not every mood is your responsibility. This next one hides behind success. From the outside, it looks like ambition, but underneath, it's something much heavier. Trait number 2, the guilt-driven achiever, the one who can't stop proving their worth. You chase accomplishments the way a drowning person gasps for air. Every good job feels like a momentary breath before you dive back down. Because when love was conditional, tied to grades, behavior, or obedience, you learned that worth must be earned. Rest feels dangerous. Saying no feels selfish. So now you're the reliable one, the overachiever, the fixer. You say yes even when you're exhausted. You apologize for existing too loudly. You work twice as hard just to feel half as secure. And the worst part? The praise you get only feeds the trap. People admire your dedication, but they don't see the guilt driving it. The invisible voice whispering, if you stop being useful, you stop being lovable. The real strength lies not in doing more, but in learning to do enough. Your worth isn't something you earn, it's something you already had, long before you started proving it. Now, not everyone copes by overdoing. Some take the opposite path, they disappear emotionally. They become the peacekeepers, the calm ones, even when chaos burns inside. Trait number 3, the emotionally numb peacemaker, the one who feels too little. You learned early that feelings weren't safe. Anger caused explosions, sadness brought ridicule, joy made you a target, so you built quiet armor, numbness. Now you're the mature one, the one who never gets angry, who smooths things over, who keeps everyone calm. People say you're easy to be around, but inside, you feel distant, watching life happen from behind glass. You've mistaken peace for silence, because when you grow up in chaos, calmness feels like control, even if it means shutting yourself off from your own emotions. Real peace doesn't come from numbing. It comes from letting yourself feel again, anger, joy, sadness, all the things you had to bury just to survive. This next one is subtle. Most people don't even realize they're doing it, but it's the reason you feel like no one truly knows who you are. Trait number 4, the overly self-aware adapter, the one who becomes whoever's needed. As a child, you had to adapt fast. If mom was angry, you became quiet. If dad was distant, you became charming. If conflict arose, you became invisible. So now, you can shift personalities like changing outfits. You know how to make people like you, how to say the right things, how to fit anywhere. But the cost? You've lost touch with you. Ask yourself, what do you actually want? What do you believe, feel, or love when nobody else is watching? Because when your safety depends on being acceptable to others, authenticity feels like danger. You've spent your life being who people needed, but not who you are. And the cruel irony? The very skill that kept you alive, adaptation, now keeps you from being seen. If you're recognizing yourself in these traits, you're not alone. Drop a heart emoji in the comments. It helps others realize they're not crazy either. Because this final trait, it's the one that keeps you trapped in all the others. Trait number 5, the control seeker, the one who mistakes safety for control. When you've grown up in manipulation, uncertainty becomes unbearable. You never knew when the rules would change, when affection would twist into punishment, when truth would turn into gaslight. So, as an adult, you cling to structure. You plan everything, overthink every word, and fear the unknown. Control feels like freedom, but it's not. It's a cage disguised as protection. Maybe you get anxious when plans shift. Maybe you micromanage projects or relationships. Maybe you replay conversations in your head, looking for mistakes. It's not because you're rigid. It's because chaos once meant danger, and part of you refuses to go back there. But here's the paradox. You can't heal what you never let move. Control keeps the pain out, yes, but it also keeps love out. Real safety isn't found in perfection. It's found in trust. The moment you let go, just a little, you make room for life to meet you halfway. If any of this resonated, take a deep breath. These traits aren't flaws. They're survival patterns, built by a child who just wanted love to feel safe. But you're not that child anymore. And healing doesn't mean forgetting the scars. It means learning they no longer have to define you. So tell me in the comments, which of these traits hit home for you most? And if this video spoke to you, hit like, share it with someone who needs to hear it, and subscribe for more content on self-healing and emotional awareness. Until next time, take care of your mind and be gentle with yourself.